Hello, this is Karma, your sustainable podcast. I am Lena, and today I will speak with Julie Tucker from BE Offices. How did I get here again? Hello, Julie. Welcome to my podcast.
Hi, Lena. Thanks for having me.
Sure. Could you please introduce yourself a little bit?
Yes, I'm Julie Tucker and I am PR and Corporate Social Responsibility for BE Offices. I've worked here for just over 8 years now. Started here in a PR and marketing role, but I've expanded that into CSR, mainly just to be a point of contact within the organisation for all things CSR related, and also for my own personal passion for sustainability and for furthering BE's responsible business practices.
Sounds great. Could you tell us a little bit what is BE Offices and what are you doing there?
Sure, of course. So BE Offices, one of the UK's leading flexible workspace providers. We've got business centres throughout the City of London, across central London and all over the UK, so from Belfast to Southampton. So we provide serviced offices, co-working space and managed workspace, also meeting rooms and virtual offices. And my role incorporates external and internal PR, communications, providing content for our various brands, and more dealing with all things CSR related.
Yes, sure. And could you tell us some things that you're doing as a social responsibility manager at BE Offices?
Yeah. So my CSR role, I coordinate all our volunteering activities and all our charitable endeavours for a start. So, for example, each employee is given 3 days volunteering leave every year. And so I help facilitate that, trying to find them projects that they can do. Pre-COVID, we used to run a 2-week annual volunteering mission somewhere internationally, and we used to have some fantastic trips to Cambodia, to Nepal, to Thailand. The last one was a reef conservation project in Belize and also a turtle conservation project in Costa Rica. So I've organised all those trips, and I really hope that one day post-COVID we'll be able to start those up again, and hopefully one day I'll be able to go on them as well. But in the meantime, we've been doing some beach cleaning on the River Thames, which isn't quite as exotic, but it's still really important. So obviously, aside from volunteering, I work with HR on all our policies such as diversity and inclusion, equal opportunities, etc. I also chair our Green Group, which is our group that looks after all the sustainability for the company. And in addition, one of the things I do as part of my social responsibility role is I'm a volunteer air quality ambassador for the City of London. So I work with them on clean air projects in London. And I'm also an ambassador for a charity, another City of London charity, which helps SMEs with their own responsible business practice. And I've just been asked last week actually to co-chair a sustainable environment steering committee for the City of London, which is very exciting. So yeah, more and more my role seems to be sort of 80% of the day CSR and about 20% of the day PR and marketing. But it's really important because it's becoming more and more important. Well, not only globally, but to our clients as well. So it's seen as critical within the organization.
Okay. So this Green Group, how many members do you have, and how came the idea for this?
Okay, so the idea came about because our board of directors long ago recognised the requirement for actually prioritising environmental issues as part of the core values of our organisation. It's made up of 18 members from our, so we have 250 people in the organisation, and I've got 18 members, which is a member of staff from every area of the business. So we have our own cleaning operation. So I've got somebody from the cleaning operation, from the assets team, the a couple from the facilities team, because obviously facilities is critical, and then IT, sales, right across the board. Some of them were very willing volunteers because they're really very passionate about it. Some of them were co-opted on, but just to make sure that every area of the business is covered.
Mm-hmm. Wow. And how long has this group been in existence?
It was actually founded way before most people were even thinking about sustainability. It 2009 it
Wow.
first began. Yeah, so really a long time ago. So we were very much forward thinking, and because of that, we've already been able to do quite a lot to decarbonize the business. So yeah, it's really great. It's really exciting to be, to chair that group, and to see everyone's passion, and really make a difference. So yeah, it's a great thing to be part of.
Yeah, sure. Can you maybe tell me, what would you tell other companies who want to build something similar? I mean, yeah.
Yeah, well, there's so much advice around, and actually I mentioned before the Heart of the City charity, which is it's a City of London based charity, but they have developed all sorts of free resources for climate action on their website. They're actually running a course as well this year, but I know that is only for City of London people, but absolutely anybody can access the resources, and it really takes you through all the steps, demystifying all the jargon. There's a lot of jargon surrounding net zero and everything, and it's a really, really helpful resource. So whenever I have people come to me, I always direct them there, because it's all there for you, lots of spreadsheets that do all the calculations for you, loads of tips and case studies and everything. So but really, I suppose my principal advice would be, just, you might think it's really daunting, and it is really daunting, but just get started, get started, pull a group of people, see it as an opportunity to, to bring together lots of people in the organization who really are passionate about this. And I think companies would be surprised about how many people do want to, get involved. So just make a start, really.
Yeah, that sounds great. You said that also in your business contacts, clients and maybe other business contacts ask you, what are you doing in the green area? Who is asking, and what they ask? I mean,
more and more. I'm fielding questions now on a pretty much a weekly basis. So initially it was our larger clients, the clients of our managed workspace organization. They were the ones, because they were typically larger organizations for whom it was strategically important, has been strategically important for a long time, but more and more it's our existing clients, our SMEs, who are now that they realize that they've got to start their own sustainability journey. So I'm getting questions from them, and obviously we're supporting them as much as we can. The great news for them is, by being in our buildings, we're already taking care of some of their emissions for them, because they're our responsibility. So that's kind of a USP for us as well, is that we can tick some of the boxes straight away, but obviously some of them just don't even know the first place to start. So it's great to be able to support them. Actually, just before Christmas, our bank they wanted to know what we were doing. So I suppose we're part of their supply chain. We're all interconnected. It's the supply chain and everything. So it's everyone from our bank to our smallest clients. Everyone's asking about it now.
And can you give me maybe an example of what you're doing in your buildings to be more sustainable?
Okay, so one of the principal things we did was we switched to a renewable energy provider. So 95% of our portfolio now is run on renewable energy. We just got one more building left to convert, and we're working. That's the landlord it's his responsibility. So we're working with him. We work with a waste provider which has a zero waste to landfill policy. So since 2018, we have been zero waste to landfill, which is really important. Obviously, we're engaging with all of our supply chain and buildings, procurement policies to make sure that our supply chain is sustainable, trying to, where they sort of, some of them haven't been asked this question before, so we're sort of helping them, with their own sustainability journeys, but really just looking at, across the organization where we can, reduce, just completely get rid of single-use plastics. We've started to do that before the pandemic, and then with the pandemic, obviously they crept back in because of hygiene issues. But we're phasing those out again. So there's we've replaced all our lighting with LEDs. We have motion sensor lighting across the portfolio, obviously to reduce emissions as well. So there's lots of things that we're doing.
Sure. Okay. Do you have the impression that something has changed since COP26 was last year?
Definitely. It definitely brought about a heightened awareness, a heightened level of awareness. Lots more people are asking questions. It's just the awareness that we really needed, because so many people, I think, are just like, oh, it's not my problem, it's someone else's problem, and starting to make people realize that it's everybody's problem. We all have a responsibility, we all have a part to play in this, and I think COP gave people, a greater idea of sort of the urgency as well, that this can't be put off till tomorrow, because if we keep putting it off till tomorrow, there won't be a tomorrow. So yeah, it's definitely helped.
Yeah, sure. Okay. So I mean, the new year just started. Do you have special plans, or what are the plans for this coming year? Maybe.
Well, we've got lots of plans ahead. We got funding from the directors to appoint an organisation to actually do our carbon calculations, because while we'd had all these initiatives to decarbonise the business, we actually hadn't done any calculations for our actual emissions. So we're working on. We have to work on 2019 as our baseline year, obviously, because that was the last year that was a proper year. So we're hoping to have those calculations by the end of March, and then that will give us a fuller picture of where we've got to go. We have really very ambitious target to be carbon neutral by the end of 2025. And I'm absolutely determined that we are going to do that. I know that London's target is 2030 and the UK target is 2050 in accordance to the Paris Agreement. But, those of us who work in this area know that that's all just way too late. We need to do it much sooner. So, we're carrying on with all the initiatives that we've already put in place. Also, we're working on the Mayor of London's Business Climate Challenge at one of our centres. They're doing a pilot scheme in Southwark, which is just south of the river. So we're working on that scheme with them, and they're hoping to roll that out to other areas of London. So we will work with them on, within other areas of London, because it's great to have their support. And for our clients to see that we're involved with that as well, it's really important. Just carrying on what we're doing, really, because obviously we've had a green policy in place for a really long time. So it's just keeping up the momentum, working with our clients to help them, and trying to just get more and more people involved, keep communicating. Even internally, I still sometimes I find things in the wrong bin, and just education.
Okay, I mean, garbage recycle, I think it's maybe also a thing for private. So I would like to ask what you're doing in private to be more sustainable, maybe.
Okay, so well, I was actually brought up with a zero waste mindset. So my father worked for the power industry all his life. So if I left a light on, I was in
Yes.
serious trouble. So I've grown up with in the knowledge of how precious our resources are. So I've always had that. So I've always led what I would consider, you know, a sustainable life. I was taught not to throw anything away. You know, you always look at it, can you repair it? Can you reuse it? Or can you repurpose it? And that's what I do with everything.
Yes.
Before. And then if I can't repurpose it, then, you know, I find a way. If it can't be recycled through my you know, my facilities on my driveway, then I will take it elsewhere to be. So I brought things into the office actually before as well, because I know that our own waste company will be able to deal with things in an environmentally friendly way. You know, one of the, like, for example, I have all these videos from my children. I used to watch these videos, and videos are one of the absolute worst things you can put into landfill, because the cassette tape is highly toxic. So I've been bringing in all these videos. There must be 100 of them. So, you know, I will literally go to any lengths to make sure that nothing that I produce goes into landfill. So the other things I've done, we're gradually becoming eating less and less meat. I mean, my children, my youngest one is a bit resistant still, so we're but we're trying to become vegetarian throughout the whole of the household. So that's another thing. Obviously, I've been making sure that all my pensions are invested responsibly. That's you know, really important. And I don't think people realise how critical that is to you know, to sustainability, is making sure your own personal pension isn't invested in fossil fuels. It's actually one of the most sustainable things you can do, is, you know, look at your pension plan and make sure it's invested responsibly. And the other thing I do on a very daily basis, I have a lovely little app. It's called Tree App. And so every day I plant a tree on there, and I've got 315 trees globally around the world, 13 countries. And last year I was able to, using that, I was able to offset my own personal carbon footprint by 186%. So I was climate positive last year. So yeah, everything that I can do. I think you have to practice what you preach. You know, if you're not doing it yourself, then how can you possibly tell other people to?
Yeah, totally. That's right. So do you have any tips for my audience to be more sustainable? I mean, you said before, just start. I think this is a really good thing. I mean, in business, but also in private. So just start.
Absolutely. I think often people think, how can my one small thing, how can me as an individual make a difference to the world? And I think if everybody thought like that, no one would do anything. But, you know, lots of us taking small steps to do our own bit, and then hopefully, you know, then influencing others, it has a domino effect. And so just start to make those small changes. You know, don't try to walk instead of using your car. You know, I use my car as little as possible. I try to walk everywhere. Active travel's, you know, really important. Obviously, as in my role as an air quality ambassador as well, you know, just in terms of air pollution, air quality as well, that's all tied in with the, you know, our sustainability. Just start, just make a start, do something, make a small change and then build on it. Try and educate yourself, you know, learn, you know, just learn as much as you can. I actually just watched this weekend, I watched this film, it's called Don't Look Up. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's amazing. It's actually the #1 film on Netflix at the moment, and it is actually a metaphor for the climate crisis. It's Leonardo DiCaprio. It's got Meryl Streep, and it's absolutely amazing. But it really shows very clearly and very quite cynically, you know, how those in power are really not addressing things at the moment, and how we are on a head-on collision for, you know, catastrophe if we don't do something. So just at a very basic level, just watch that movie and you'll get an idea of
that's a good thing.
Yeah.
I mean, people love
just make a start. That's you know, the first thing you can do.
Okay, then thank you very much, Julie, for your time.
You're so welcome. It's been a pleasure to speak with you. Thank you for having me.
How did I get here again?